Alright, so I finished packing the book orders I do have. Hi everybody, my name is Annie, and for this series of videos I'm going to be doing the Rough Draft Challenge again this year. And it's basically just kind of another version of doing National Novel Writing Month, which is basically you try to write a certain amount of words in a month. And the thing about the Rough Draft Challenge that's being held by Sarah Cannon is that you can kind of set your own word count. I, however, am going to be going for the typical 50,000 words just because if you're new to my channel, I just published Eyes of Pewter in August and I really need to write book 2. And I already have about 11,000 words done on the book before, you know, the Rough Draft Challenge even starts. And so I'm trying really hard to see if I can actually either finish the book or get really close to having it done by the end of the month. The big goal is to have the entire first draft done by the end of 2025, but I usually take December off, and so I'm hoping that I can get most of the words in, if not all of the rest of the words for the book for the first draft done by the end of November, just so that I can, you know, take a little bit of a break in December. And yeah, so these are just going to be weekly updates on my word count, on how things went, day by day, kind of taking you through what I got done, what I didn't get done, how, you know, if I fell behind, how I'm catching up, things like that. Also, caveat, I am a potter as well. If you're new to my channel, I do pottery, so you will likely see some pottery clips thrown in here and there, and that does mean that I don't have as much time to get writing done. I kind of have to learn how to balance the two. I have one more collection left of pottery before the end of the year, my Book Lovers collection, and so you might get clips here and there. It mostly will probably be a writing vlog, but I do admit that I am a multi-passionate artist and I do have both of them in my business, and so you're likely to see a little bit of pottery and a little bit of writing in them. Okay, today is actually Tuesday, and I know it's not November 1st. I wish I could have started it off right off the bat, going full force, getting all the words I needed done. However, I actually had a huge online market I was doing called eHearts over on Instagram, and so I didn't get any words written for the first day because I was too busy like going live, selling my paperback copies, selling my pottery, so it just didn't happen. And then Sunday I was able to catch up a little bit with my word count. I ended up getting about 2,000 words, 2,300 words, I think it was. And then yesterday I just didn't get a chance to, because, like, you know, working on the packing and trying to, I had a lot of overseas orders for my pottery and my books and stuff, so trying to figure out shipping and all that jazz was kind of complicated, so it kept me super busy. I couldn't get the camera on, so I wrote in the evening for a couple of hours, and I ended up getting another like 2,100 or something like that words. I will update you on the entire word count here, you know, for as far as specifics go, but I think if I can keep hitting this like at least 2,000 words a day thing, I think it'll be easy, because then, like, you know, if I have a bad day or, you know, it doesn't work out or pottery takes over, I think that's going to give me a little bit of wiggle room as well. So I think my goal is really going to be trying to get at least 2,000 words done a day, and that isn't super hard for me. I usually can get at least 1,000 words done in a sitting, but the tricky part is going to be writing every day, because sometimes, like, you know, running my business, pottery, stuff like that tends to get in the way, and so I don't always have the time to sit down and write every single day. But we're gonna try for it. We're gonna try in November. We're gonna try to get book 2 done. did day 4 go? So actually today I had a little bit of a harder time getting the 2,000 words I planned. I thought I had an idea of where I wanted the story to go, but it just didn't end up working. I liked like half of what I wrote, but then it just kind of started to meander a little bit, and I'm not exactly sure where I want it to go from here. I think I did make my word count for the day, but I do kind of want to take some time to think about it and kind of figure out how I want this next scene to go, because the stuff that I was coming up with just it wasn't working. It just wasn't what I wanted it to happen. Like, I tried a couple of different things, but you know, sometimes you just feel like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this. Sometimes I have it like with any of my art forms, where you just know what it needs to be and it's not there, right? And so, you know, when it comes to pottery, sometimes you just gotta try again, make the thing from scratch, right? When it comes to writing, it's like, well, maybe the scene just isn't, maybe I need to like start over the scene from scratch, right? And so, yeah, that's kind of what I'm gonna do, is just kind of sit with it, kind of try to think about where I want the next scene to go. I do tend to write chronologically. If I struggle too much with this particular scene, I don't know, it'd be hard to skip it, because I feel like it kind of will affect other things later on in the book as well. So I'm not sure if I'll skip it, but hopefully I'll come up with something to, you know, just kind of letting it percolate in the back of my head, you know. Hopefully I'll come up with something for tomorrow. But yeah, today was actually more of a struggle than the other days have been. And I will say too, I have been writing this book for a while, and I'm actually close to the 20,000 mark, and I do tend to run into the problem of the 20,000 word mark. Like the 20,000 word mark, it just, for whatever reason, that's when I tend to struggle. That's when I tend to kind of look back and not really like the things I've written, or wonder if I should change things. I have had this, especially with Eyes of Pewter. It was definitely like the 20,000 mark, where I was like, I don't think I like this, and went back and rewrote the first chapter like 10 times. So yeah, so I do know that I kind of struggle in this area. Like the 20,000 word mark is definitely one that, for whatever reason, that's when I start having the issues. That's when I slow down. That's when I'm not sure what's going to happen next. So yeah, and then I will say part of it too is there's a lot of other stressors that are going on right now as well. Like, I'm trying to figure out international shipping, you know, to the UK with VAT taxes and all that stuff, and so that has also been draining. And you know, it just kind of like other things are also affecting the creativity and the time and the space to do it. I might try again to write a little bit later tonight. I might just leave it, dwell in it, kind of see if I can figure it out by tomorrow, and see if we can't, you know, get the ball rolling again. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what my update is for today. I'm just gonna sit and think, and hopefully it'll come to me. But yeah, anyways, I will catch up with you tomorrow, and hopefully I will have a better writing day. Hi everybody. So I'm not all dolled up today. I didn't have time, appointments and such. It was a busy morning. So I'm here probably about noon, and I'm just kind of getting started on the writing. I'm still dealing a little bit with the international shipping, so we'll see. I'm gonna try to, like, I don't know, it's hard. Like, once I start writing, I don't like to get interrupted, so I'm not sure how this will go, but we'll see. I do really need to get started on my writing though, because I've decided that I feel like the last chapter I wrote is just not gonna be what I need to be. I'm probably just gonna keep it to say, you know, because they are words I wrote in November, but like it's not gonna be part of the final book, I don't think. I've decided to go in a different direction with this particular chapter, and because I kind of told you how I wasn't entirely sure I wanted what happened to happen, or how it needed to happen. So I actually spent a lot of time last night just kind of brainstorming it. And like what I did was I kind of just made a list of all of the different things I thought could happen, things that could be going on in the city, things that could be an issue, a plot point, whatever it is. I just listed them all out. And then I kind of just brainstormed like which ideas I liked the most, why did I like them, what could I do with them. I came up with some ideas that I don't know that I'll use them here in the story, but I do like them, and I think that they will make you know, little reveals later be really good in the book, because I love plot, I love secrets, I love reveals, I love plot twists. These are some of the favorite things I put in my book and those things always end up in my books just because I love them so much. But there are plot twists and little reveals and stuff like that in book 1 of Eyes of Pewter, and I do plan on doing the same thing in book 2 as well. I know I kind of left it a little bit, it's not like cliffhangery in that like the story wraps up for what they were trying to do and what they were trying to get done, but like there are some very unanswered questions in book 1 that I'm planning on answering in book 2. So I've got some of those ideas. I don't think they'll happen in this chapter, but I am kind of going to hold on to them for later. The other thing is that I might actually end up adding another POV. Yeah, I know, I already have like 3. But I just feel like for it to make sense, we need to know the motivations of a particular character more. And I feel like there isn't any way to, with how I have the story, with how the things have happened in the book, there isn't any good way to have those motivations revealed unless I do it from that particular character's point of view. Like, this isn't a character that has any of the other characters around them. They are kind of their own, in their own space, in their own, you know, but we do need to know what's going on in their head, right? So I don't know, I might try that too. I might actually try writing a chapter from that perspective to see if I like it. The other thing is that the chapter that I didn't like, that I'm going to disregard, I think it's because it was from the wrong POV. So I am kind of rotating between Kalan and Trenton and trying to give, I mean, Trenton's going to have more chapters from his POV. The book is more about him. But I do think this particular chapter probably will be better from Kalan's perspective. Just because we love Trenton. Trenton's one of my favorite characters, but he's not as active of a character. Like, he tends to, like, he is active, but not as active as Kalan. Like, Kalan will plot. She'll go out there. She'll do the thing. She'll get the thing done. She won't wait for things to happen to her, and that's kind of what I need to happen in this chapter. So they are going together, like, they are doing this together, and so we are going to, like, see from both of them. But I feel like the chapter will be better from Kalan's perspective, because she's not gonna take crap. She's gonna do the thing. She's going to probably get herself in trouble. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I'm gonna try to get some writing done. So I hit the 2,000 mark. I'm a little bit over, like 2013 words, I think, which is awesome. That's kind of what I was aiming for today. I didn't quite finish this chapter, but I find that it's actually easier for me to sit down and think about it and get back into the writing when I have unfinished thoughts that I want to. I don't know if that makes sense. It might not work for some people, because I know people like to maybe like finish the chapter or finish the thought or finish what's happening in the scene. But for me, if I leave it unfinished, I'm more likely to want to finish it the next day. I'm more likely to want to feel like writing and to do the thing that I'm excited about. So it's kind of at a stopping point right now, because it's like a little heart-to-heart that, you know, Trenton and Kalon are having, and I can't give details away for people who haven't read the first book, but they're just having a get to know each other moment, I guess, and I just think that's a good place to stop, because I'm not exactly sure how I want the rest of the chapter to go, one, and two is it kind of leaves me with some things to work with for tomorrow. Alright, so I finished packing the book orders I do have. One of the book orders, the person asked me to wait until I have some other things, and they want me to send them a bunch of stuff all at once. But then I've got these three are good to go, and they're actually going to go in this box, and this box is going to go to the UK. So all these books are going to find a new home overseas. And then one of these books is going to just another state in the United States, so I'll be sending that one out too. And yeah, we've got all the books packed and ready to go. I did have a couple of other orders, but they were local pickups, so people already came and got them. Yeah, and I ended up pretty much selling out of all of my like regular copies, and like, so all that's left on my website is just the seconds, you know, the books that got shipped to me that didn't quite turn out perfectly. But yeah, so we've got all that. I plan on shipping those out today. Well, getting everything labeled and everything like that, and then probably like actually sending them out tomorrow morning. Hi everybody! So I am actually just running a preheat, and I know there's not quite enough, like you saw that this kiln isn't super full, but I'm not running like a full bisque fire. I'm just doing a preheat for these mugs because they're just taking a really long time to dry, and I need to get this collection out at some point this month. And so it's easier to run the preheat and just have it be a preheat on this kiln because it's more programmable. Because I have like the touchscreen and stuff. My other kiln, the smaller one, I don't think all of my mugs, because they're really wide and like have big bottoms, I don't think they would all fit in the smaller kiln. One, two, you can't really just run a preheat. You have to do the whole thing, and so I'd have to come out here and stop it before it started running a bisque fire after the preheat. So that's why I'm doing it in this kiln. We're just gonna run a preheat only. I've got it going for a couple of hours just to dry those mugs out because they're just not wanting to dry with how cold and wet it's been here. We haven't quite gotten any snow, like it hasn't been cold enough just not cold enough to get snow. But man, we've been getting a ton of rain. If it had been just the tiniest bit colder, we would probably have a couple inches of snow already. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of like, I've got I don't normally just run a preheat, like I don't normally just candle the mugs, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? And yeah, they all fit in this kiln. This kiln will just run a preheat, and it'll be, you know, it'll run for the amount I tell it to. It'll stop when I tell it to. I don't have to worry about it going through and starting to do a bisque fire. And I mean, you can do that where you just run a preheat and then have it go into a bisque fire. But these mugs are so wet that I'm not sure how long they'll need to candle. Like how long I'll need to have them on the preheat. So we're just trying to get the moisture out, see how far we can get, see how dry we can get them, to see if I can run a bisque fire like tomorrow, Sunday at the latest. I just need to get these mugs done. Because I need to restock from here. I'm working on a collection that I'm trying to launch, and I need it done by the end of November, like I said, and so they still need to be glazed and things like that too. So this is what we're doing in the meantime. We're going to try to get this going. We're going to try to get those mugs dried out, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to run a bisque fire tomorrow. That's kind of my hope. Yeah, that's what we're doing in the studio today. And I would be making ornaments as well, except for I'm waiting for a high temp wire to be delivered to me, and it isn't being delivered in the time it said it was going to be delivered, so it's running a little late, so I haven't been able to do the ornaments yet. But ornaments usually dry pretty fast. Like the mugs are the ones that I'm really worried about getting done in time. So yeah, I don't think it'll take too long to do the ornaments. They usually dry pretty fast. They bisque fire pretty easy. I think, you know, I can stick them in my smaller kiln easily. Like, you know, if I need to, just run the smaller kiln with the ornaments and that's it. And then just run a glaze fire with everything. That's what we'll have to do. I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping, though, the high temp wire said it was out for delivery today. So I'm really hoping that it shows up so that I can make some ornaments. Because usually what I do is I put the high temp wire into the ornament and bisque fire it with the high temp wire in it. And the high temp wire that I get also can be fired up to a cone 6, cone 7. So I also usually do glaze fire with those ornaments as well with the high temp wire in them. But you do have to have a particular kind of wire, and I've been waiting and it's just not getting shipped to me fast enough, so that's kind of where we're at. We're just kind of in this make it work moment. Hi everybody, so an update. As you saw, I did get I can't say like a kiln load going because it's not actually like firing through the whole process, but it's just candling. And for those who are not familiar with pottery terms, that means I'm sticking the mugs in the kiln at a temperature 180 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll put what that is in Celsius here on the screen as well. And I put it at that temperature to kind of cook all of the moisture out of it. Basically, it's to dry the mugs out, and so it's not like a full-on kiln load, like running through the bisque fire or the glaze fire or whatever. The point is just to dry the mugs out as much as we can, so that we can get them dry enough to be able to do a bisque fire with. Because my personal opinion is that explosions aren't really necessarily from air, but they're from moisture. And so the more moisture you have in a mug, the more likely it is to explode. So we want to try to get all that moisture out of those mugs so that when I go to bisque fire, I won't have any pieces exploding in my kiln, which is preferable. And so that's kind of what we got going on as far as pottery goes. I did just get the high temp wire this afternoon. I'm probably going to go ahead and make some ornaments tomorrow and kind of get them all drying out and stuff. I don't think they'll take as long to dry. I should be able to get them in the bisque fire with the other pieces, I'm hoping. We'll see. And I would do them tonight, but we do have Dungeons and Dragons as our D&D night, and so I've got a bunch of friends coming over. We do record them. It is on a podcast called Through the Balcony, where we all, record our characters and are playing through this particular campaign. And anyways, yeah, we're gonna be doing that tonight. So I'm gonna be needing to clean a little bit. My house isn't super messy, but it's enough that I probably should do some cleaning, like vacuuming and stuff. And yeah, and then I've got to edit this video, right? Because I've got to get this up by tomorrow. So yeah, that's what the plan is for the rest of the afternoon. But before we end this vlog, I do want to give you a word count update. So I was able to get 2008 words written, which puts me a little bit ahead of where I need to be. Today, as far as like the national novel writing rules go, they want you to write about, I think it's 1,667 words a day. And so I have been doing a little bit more than that, like 2,000 here, 2,000 there. I have had a day where I only did 1,000, like yesterday. And then like the 1st of November, I didn't write at all. So it's kind of all leveled out to where I'm like, maybe like 50 words ahead. Yeah, so I ended up with, by the end of this week, I ended up with 11,475 words written for the first week of this rough draft challenge / novel writing month / whatever you want to call it. I'm supposed to be at 11,290. So I'm about like, 200 or 300 words ahead of where I need to be, which is cool. So yeah, that's good. And then as far as my total word count goes for this particular book, because I did have some words written beforehand, before I started Nano. I mean, my goal is to do 50,000 words during Nano, because I have a feeling this book is going to be longer than 50,000 words. And I had about 11,000 words before I started Nano. So we're kind of just working through and yeah, just trying to get past that 50,000. But also trying to like do 50,000 within November, if that makes any sense. So we are at like 11,475 words total for what I've written just for November, just for this rough draft challenge November thing. And then total on my manuscript is, and then total on my manuscript ends up being 23,927. So we're almost at 24,000 words for the manuscript, which is really awesome. It's putting me right at the midpoint. I am going to stop for today, like I said, because I've got a bunch of other things going on. I want to edit this video, I need to clean. And then also as far as the story goes, it's right at the midpoint. It's right where I need it to be. I know how I want this scene to go, and it's going to be a really long and hard scene to write. Not because of me not necessarily knowing what to write or anything. Like, I know exactly how the scene needs to go. It's going to be hard for me personally, like emotionally. It's going to be emotionally difficult scenes to get through. Like, this chapter is going to be hard-hitting. And so I do want to give myself as much time as I can to write this particular scene, these particular chapters. So I'm going to go ahead and cut myself off here today so that when I go into doing writing tomorrow, I am prepared and I know what I'm getting into, and I will have the time and the space to emotionally prepare for the words that I have to write as well. So yeah, that's what I've done so far this week. I feel like I got quite a bit done. I'm really happy with the fact that even though I had some days where I didn't quite hit the mark, I did overall end up ahead, so that's cool. And really, I am just really excited about being able to get to like the midpoint of the book. And when I write, I tend to have my midpoints a little earlier in the book than is typical. Like usually people will say about halfway through your book is a midpoint. And it happened in Eyes of Pewter as well. My midpoint happened just a little bit earlier than, you know, exactly halfway through the book, which I think is fine and it works. And I just need the midpoint to happen when it's happening, because there's going to be a lot of aftermath, a lot of things that are going to happen, a lot of character POVs I need to get through for this. So yeah, so I kind of need the midpoint to happen a little earlier than it would normally. I mean, if you think about it, you know, 25,000 words, about halfway point in a 50,000 word novel, as where I'm like at 24,000 almost, but this book is going to end up being more than 50,000 words. So, you know, that's what I mean. But anyways, I'm kind of getting into the nitty gritty and I don't necessarily need to. But those are kind of my goals. That's what the plan is going forward, and I will hopefully talk to you tomorrow. Like I said though, the weekends are a little harder for me to record because I have the kids and stuff. But if I don't see you Saturday or Sunday, I will see you again on Monday and give you an update on how the weekend went and how my writing went. And yeah, we'll see where we're at then. And yeah, that's what I got for you. That's my update. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!